The global K-pop landscape is once again trembling with anticipation, and this time it's all because of one man, Kim Seokjin. Better known as Jin of BTS, the worldwide superstar is preparing to set the stage ablaze in Incheon on the 1st of November 2025 with the much-awaited encore of his Run Seokjin EP tour. But this isn't just another concert. According to US media, music critics, and even major entertainment analysts, this encore performance is shaping up to become one of the most watched live solo events in Korean music history. What began as a bold solo venture in Goyang on the 28th of June 2025 has since evolved into a phenomenon, the Run Seokjin EP tour, designed to support his albums Happy 2024 and Echo 2025, quickly exceeded all predictions. With 9 cities, 18 performances, and overwhelming demand from global fans, the tour has not only sold out arenas across Asia and beyond, it has rewritten expectations for what a post-military solo debut could look like. Announced by Big Hit Music on October 2, the Incheon encore performance is the result of both overwhelming fan demand and the resounding success of Jin's artistic vision. US entertainment outlets have already begun coverage weeks ahead of the concert, praising the encore as a grand finale of cinematic proportions. Media giants like Rolling Stone, Billboard, and Variety have taken notice. Rolling Stone described Jin's tour as a journey of vulnerability, artistry, and sheer star power. Meanwhile, the New York Times reported that his solo trajectory blends old-school emotional resonance with contemporary K-pop aesthetics, placing Jin in a rare tier of soloists who can command both massive arenas and critical acclaim. American media is not just impressed with the tour's numbers or streaming stats, they're captivated by the emotional storytelling that has defined each performance. Jin's ballads are seen as personal memoirs set to music. His stage presence, often quiet, deliberate, and piercing, has left US reviewers searching for words. Many have compared his delivery to that of great solo legends, from Elton John to Adele, with a distinctly Korean soul at its center. What makes this encore even more monumental is its location and symbolism. Incheon is not only close to Jin's hometown roots, but it represents a powerful return to home soil after taking his solo act across the globe. International armies are expected to tune in via streaming services in record numbers, with many fan bases organizing synchronized global viewing parties. Rumors of special guests, possibly fellow BTS members, or high-profile collaborations have only added to the frenzy. Social media is ablaze with speculation, with hashtags like #Jin Encore Incheon and #Run Seokjin Finale trending across multiple countries, including the US, Canada, the UK, Japan, and Brazil. If ticket sales are any indication, the encore is already a record-breaking event. In less than 3 minutes, all tickets were sold out, a testament to Jin's unwavering draw. Spotify streams for Echo surged by 27% following the encore announcement, while Happy experienced a revival in both Korean and global charts. Tech-savvy fans have even begun setting up watchbots and real-time translations for international armies, ensuring that no language barrier will diminish the impact of the show. Online platforms like Weverse and YouTube have confirmed they will boost capacity to accommodate the global spike in viewership on the day of the concert. But beyond numbers and charts, what truly matters is Jin's emotional connection to his audience. Known for his humility and affection toward fans, Jin has often used his concerts to share personal stories about his military service, his family, his dreams, and his deep bond with BTS. Sources close to Big Hit suggest that the Incheon performance will include an unreleased track dedicated to both fans and bandmates. The idea, insiders say, is to close the chapter of his first solo era with gratitude, love, and hope. In an emotional Weverse post, Jin hinted at what's to come. This tour wasn't just about singing, it was about returning to the stage as myself and sharing that self with you. What's next for Jin? With the Encore concert marking the close of this tour era, the next question on everyone's mind is, what's next? Industry analysts believe Jin is poised to expand even further into acting, global brand ambassadorships, like his work with Gucci and Fred Jewelry, and possibly a Grammy campaign if Big Hit and Hybe decide to back him with full promotional power. Fans also suspect this encore might be the bridge to a full BTS reunion in 2026, especially given the subtle references made during the tour to all 7 members. But for now, All eyes are on Incheon. The lights are being tested, the set list is being guarded with secrecy, and the world is holding its breath for a night that could define not just Jin's solo career but the very future of K-pop's global direction. The anticipation was unlike anything seen before in the solo careers of K-pop idols. Jin, standing at the center of a storm of excitement, had become more than just a singer, he was now a symbol of artistic independence and global resonance. As the date of his Incheon Encore concert drew closer, fans across continents were counting down the days, hours, even minutes, until he would once again step onto the stage. But this time, it wasn't just another performance. It was a culmination, a celebration. A victory lap for a man who had spent the past year redefining what it meant to go solo after years of being part of one of the world's most legendary groups. The city of Incheon transformed overnight. Hotels were fully booked, fan art exhibitions popped up around public squares, international fans flew in, their hands clutching banners and light sticks, their voices rehearsing fan chants that had become rituals of love. News reporters lined up outside the venue as if covering the arrival of royalty. Billboard trucks circled downtown Seoul, flashing digital countdowns to November 1, each second ticking toward a moment fans had been dreaming of since the Run Seokjin tour was first announced months earlier. What made this encore different wasn't just its scale or even its sold-out status. It was the weight of what it meant. For Jin, this concert marked not just the end of a successful tour, but the fulfillment of a personal journey. After completing his military service, a pivotal moment in any Korean male citizen's life, he chose to return not with fanfare or overproduction, but with heartfelt lyrics, minimalist stage designs that drew attention to his voice, and a message that resonated far beyond language. His solo albums, Happy and Echo, painted a dual narrative, one of longing and optimism, sorrow and self-acceptance. Every song felt like a conversation, and every performance, a confession. The American media had already begun to call him K-pop's new standard of sincerity. Rolling Stone didn't hold back in their praise, comparing his storytelling power to legendary artists who blurred the lines between pop music and poetry. They noted how Jin's voice, soft, raw, but unwavering, had the unique ability to silence even the loudest arenas. Variety described his tour as a masterclass in vulnerability, a phrase rarely used to define the K-pop experience, which is often framed by choreography and spectacle. But Jin chose stillness. He chose to stand still and let the words do the dancing. As the encore performance approached, more and more media outlets picked up on the momentum. Interviews surfaced from producers and backup dancers who described the preparation as a labor of love. Behind the scenes, snippets showed Jin staying late during rehearsals, personally adjusting set designs, and asking lighting directors to make it feel like dawn breaking through sadness. His attention to emotional detail was surgical. Every second on stage had to mean something, not just to the audience, but to him. The Encore in Incheon wasn't just a local event. Livestream subscriptions surged across North America, with digital tickets being sold faster than some of the biggest Western festivals. Fan cafes in New York, Los Angeles, Toronto, and even rural cities in the Midwest organized midnight viewing parties. Time zones didn't matter. The connection was what counted. And that connection was palpable. Jin's opening number on the Encore night silenced the 25,000-person crowd instantly. He emerged not with fireworks or special effects, but under a single white spotlight, dressed in soft pastels that contrasted the black night sky. He whispered the first line of the song instead of singing it, and that whisper carried across the venue like a secret. Phones were raised, tears were held back, and for the next 2 hours, the world collectively surrendered to the emotion of his music. By the time he reached the encore song, the one fans had speculated would be a surprise, there was a hush, so complete it was as if the world itself paused. Then came a piano chord, then came his voice, and then came the tears. It wasn't just the fans crying. It was Jin himself. With trembling lips, he confessed mid-song that this performance wasn't about numbers or breaking records. It was about proving to himself that he could stand alone, not as a shadow of BTS, but as a man who had something to say, something worth hearing, something worth remembering. Backstage, reporters captured him kneeling on the floor in gratitude, surrounded by staff and bandmates who had shown up in secret to support him. Jungkook, Taehyung, RM. Each of them reportedly hugged Jin in silence, letting the moment speak louder than any interview ever could. It was a reunion not for the cameras, but for the soul. American news outlets scrambled to cover this unplanned reunion, calling it one of the most emotionally impactful moments in Korean pop history. As the curtain fell and the lights dimmed, there was no grand goodbye. Just Jin, bowing low, mouthing thank you to an audience that had just witnessed more than a concert, it had witnessed a transformation. And as fans exited the venue, many in stunned silence, there was a collective understanding that something extraordinary had just happened. Something human, something beautiful, something that would stay with them long after the music faded. The encore night didn't end at the venue. As the final echoes of Jin's voice faded into the Incheon air, the world was already reacting. Social media platforms X, TikTok, Instagram, and Weverse exploded with clips, photos, and emotional tributes. The hashtag number #Seokjin Encore began trending worldwide within minutes. Fans across different time zones who watched the live stream shared synchronized, sobbing reactions, videos of families watching together, and personal stories of how Jin's music helped them through difficult moments. It was no longer just a concert, it had become a shared experience of healing. American media outlets were swift and relentless in their praise. Billboard called the concert a landmark moment in post-military K-pop storytelling. The New York Times ran a full-feature article with the headline, "Jin's encore in Incheon may have just redefined what solo stardom looks like." CNN Entertainment described the performance as not just a show but a human event, rare, raw, and remarkable. What struck most journalists wasn't the production or even the flawless vocals, but the way Jin allowed silence and stillness to speak louder than any pyrotechnics could. They were in awe of how a single artist could hold the emotional attention of the entire globe without needing to shout. And while Western outlets were applauding, Eastern media, particularly from Japan, Singapore, and Thailand, highlighted the spiritual nuance of the show. Japanese magazine Spur, which had recently featured Jin on their January 2026 cover, emphasized how Jin embodied ikigai, a reason for being through every song. His journey wasn't just about artistic growth, but personal healing. Fans were not just watching him perform, they were watching him reconcile with himself. What made this even more impactful was how Jin wove every chapter of his solo story into the encore. There was no moment wasted, no filler song. Each performance was connected, a narrative arc that threaded songs from his debut album Happy, filled with warmth and quiet gratitude to the emotional complexities of Echo, where longing, regret, and hope coexist. He performed Don't Say You Love Me with a stripped-down acoustic arrangement that had fans crying openly, showing how far the song had evolved since breaking 600 million streams. Jin's fashion for the night also became a topic of fascination. Styled in full Gucci, with subtle nods to his Fred jewelry ambassadorship, he was a walking canvas of artistic confidence. One of the most shared images of the night was him standing under dim lights, his silhouette framed by sheer red fabric flowing from his jacket, symbolizing love, loss, and passion all at once. Vogue US named him the most emotionally articulate fashion ambassador of the decade, while GQ simply called him the man who made encore couture a thing. Beyond the emotional highs, there was a deeper cultural impact. Korean entertainment scholars noted how Jin's approach challenged the traditional arc of idol career trajectories. While many artists fade after military service or rely heavily on nostalgia, Jin did the opposite. He embraced the future, leaned into vulnerability, and reintroduced himself not as a member of BTS, but as Jin, the storyteller, the artist, the human. Back at the venue, fans lingered long after the lights came back on. They left handwritten letters at makeshift memorials set up near the main gate, not because someone had passed, but because they had been moved beyond words. Messages read, "You saved me. This felt like therapy," and "I didn't know I needed this until tonight." Some fans returned the next morning just to sit outside the venue, still processing what they had witnessed. In an unexpected gesture, Jin returned to the stage privately the next day. Staff members reported that he stood alone for several minutes, walking the empty aisles, touching the seats, whispering thank you into the silence. One stagehand shared that Jin looked up at the rafters and said, "I gave everything last night. I hope they felt it." That moment, unseen by cameras, unknown to the crowd, became legend. It was also revealed that the encore was not the final chapter. In a cryptic message during the final set, Jin hinted at an upcoming surprise in Los Angeles. The crowd erupted. Could it be a second encore? A special performance for Western armies? A collaboration? no one knew, but the excitement was immediate. Within hours, American news outlets speculated about potential venues, ticket releases, and possible guest appearances. For Jin, this encore was never meant to be a farewell, it was a passage, a bridge from what he was to what he is becoming. And for fans, it was a reminder that growth can be quiet, that strength can be soft, and that music doesn't need to be loud to be heard. As the world takes a breath after the whirlwind that was Incheon, one thing is clear: Jin's encore didn't just close a tour, it opened a legacy,